Thank you. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Anne. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Shall we start?
Yes, please.
I think Anna, you can also drop off. Yeah, she dropped. Okay. So, Jan, can you briefly describe about your previous project, the tools that you have used, and what were your roles and responsibilities there?
Uh, any previous project?
Yeah.
Or I can just give you general idea and general with
Yeah,
different.
general is also
Yeah,
fine. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So
Also, can you
from
turn on your video? Just sorry to interrupt.
well, I have very bad connection here, so it saves as bad. And besides, it's dark here, so is that okay with you? I mean, do you do? I can briefly show myself if that's important, but uh,
No, the video would be required so that I know you are not verifying the questions anywhere else.
okay. Uh,
Yeah,
do you want to turn yourself video as well, or just me?
it would be just you.
Oh, okay. Uh, start video. Okay. I
Yeah,
guess it's
able to
okay.
see you now.
Okay.
Yeah, now I think you can proceed.
Okay. So basically, I have overall I have worked as a senior QA about more than 20 years. Experience from front end before it was standalone applications. In recent years, it's web-based with different browsers. Tools, if it's manual, that mostly use some kind of backend SQL developer or some other tools based for needed for SQL writing queries. For API, I used Postman and Swagger. Uh, Sometimes I've used Unix and used SOAP. And on some occasions that I've been doing automation, I've used Silk, Selenium, and QTP. And for in-house for like bug tracking system, there was like many choices. There was a JAMA, there was ALM, maybe some others. Maybe I'm forgetting. Obviously, I use Jira, Confluence. So those are general tools that I've used in the past. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, your role was having the responsibility to perform the manual as well as the automation testing?
Well, automation, I okay. So most of my jobs were manual. Some
Mm-hmm.
jobs were combination of manual with automation, but primary focus is a manual. So if that means that I have some background in automation, but not like senior enough, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. And regarding the automation testing tools that you just mentioned, you were the part of building framework as well, or was just the test script writing for that?
Test script writing.
Ah, okay, okay. So the framework team was a different team who would have built those frameworks, and you were utilizing it to leverage the automation for the test cases you write, the test script you write, right?
Yes, I've been writing test scripts myself, but I wasn't creating frameworks. So no.
Ah, okay. Clear, clear. Okay, and most of these projects were agile, or you have experience in waterfall as well?
Yes, I would say from 1997 when I started, obviously first about 4 or 5 years of waterfall, and then
Mm-hmm.
companies start moving to agile. So from I would say if you look at the company in my resume called Intrax,
Mm-hmm.
Intrax was the first company that I used agile, and since then it was mostly agile. But before it was waterfall.
Ah, okay. So you have well experience in both the models.
Yes, 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 I do.
Okay. Uh, do you, so just a second. Can you explain me the concept of test coverage and how can you make sure that you have adequate coverage of the requirement?
Test coverage is basically a concept where you making sure that uh, function all functionality is being covered.
Mm-hmm.
The way to make sure that it happens are two things. One is uh, using something called traceability matrix. This is one of the artifacts for QA team for QA engineers. So basically, traceability matrix is its purpose is to make sure that every requirement that you have is covered by at least one single test case. At least should be one, so you can see there is nothing missing. And the second way is also after after um, deployment is done and there are some defects coming back. One of the standard process is trying to perform what's called root cause analysis, basically trying to understand why we have defects. Some defects are environment based, some for another reasons, but some defects are basically results of missing coverage. So once you find defect, if it's missing coverage, you have to make sure that this hole was filled and there's like enter necessary test cases to make sure that's not gonna happen again. So those are kind of scenarios that I can say. Yeah.
Okay. How can you figure out which test cases should be regression candidates?
How? Well,
I mean, what would be the criteria for you to
okay, yeah.
uh,
So well, it's kind of based on personal choice. There is no like 100%, but
mhm.
criteria is certain. It's hard to choose it sometimes, but criteria is certain is basically the purpose of uh, um, well, you said candidates for regression.
Yeah, regression candidate.
Well, yes, I guess. Well, give me a second. Well, regression. So let me maybe I'm not answering it correctly. If I'm not, please tell me because for me regression is basically everything. So every well you have to okay. So there is there could be different misconception from different experiences, but like you have like 100% 100 test cases coverage, right? And regression to me this is running the same 100 test cases. So however there is a what's called sanity test. Maybe that's what you're asking. If you're not, then tell me because I'm trying to make sure I'm not confusing you. So basically, there is a subset of regression, and the subset of regression that's usually done on the base of if during release we don't have enough time, then we
Mhm.
have to run subset to make sure at least that application is stable enough to so there is no major misconception or no major defects, and then you create subset of regression, and then when you're making choice of subset regression, you're basically trying to figure out which test cases or which functionality of this product is crucial to the end user. So there are some test cases that I can write are not even if they fail will not make major impact on applications. So and then you don't have to run them if you don't have time. Ideally you do, but you don't have to. But there are some certain things like basically like I don't know, banking application user should be able to log in. I mean, if user cannot log in, then our deploy and use of application will be uh, you know um, very negative for the customer point of view. So there is like based on priority of the of severity, whatever combination of those two, to have to make sure that this. test cases and functionality is a major of use for user, and those should be uh, being focused before release primary. But ideally, if you have time, you have to run full set of test cases. That will be regression. That's my answer.
Okay. You mentioned regarding sanity testing as well. So this sanity testing would have I mean, test case as such in it that we will execute, or would it be a different kind of pack?
Sorry, I didn't get your question again.
Yeah. So you mentioned regarding sanity testing, right? If we have limited time with us and we are not able to execute all the regression test cases, we would execute the sanity pack.
Yes.
Now, this sanity pack would consist of test cases, or will it be something else?
No, that's what it is. Sanity. Okay, okay. So just I can expand it on a little bit more because those two type of things. There is a smoke test and a sanity test.
Yeah.
Is part of the strategies of QA to testing. So smoke test is a kind of like sanity test, but it's done in the beginning. It's kind of part of acceptance. So when you have new build, somebody run smoke test to make sure that build is good, so all testers can start working on new build. Sanity is kind of same idea, but it's done as a subset of regression, so it's before release, and it's all based on a sanity test is based on test cases. Smoke test not necessarily, but sanity test, yes, it's subset of regression. And by the way, just
Okay.
to make sure, it's also most of the time when somebody creates sanity test, this is the test cases are candidates for automation because we want to make sure that if we put special functionality that are most important to the end user, we want to automate them. So next time when we need to do release, we just run automation, and instead of spending like all day, it can be done in a matter of few hours by running automation scripts for sanity, which is subset of regression. Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay. Can you tell me what do you mean by defect triage?
Defect traces is basically it's kind of meeting where team kind of sits together like developers, business analysts, QAs, and they go over the list of issues that been found and setting up possibly priority or of what actually could be defect could be not. So those are kind of discussions where they decided if something is actually defect. If, for example, developers and QA disagree, then we're waiting for the meeting where it's called triage. So discussing if something is defect or not, and could be something that whatever this needs to be fixed or not. So let's say we have few days before release cycle, and we have a bunch of things entered in the assigned to developers in status that is unclear what we need to do with that. So that's triage meetings where we decide if something needs to be fixed at all, or then list of something that needs to be fixed, what exactly priority, what needs to be first, what second. So basically making sure that we get best results in the end of the day. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What do you mean by stub?
Stub.
Yeah.
What stub refers to? Like, is it part of defect? Some what stub refer? I'm sorry.
So, I'm not sure if you had any experience for in-stream testing.
For what testing?
In-stream testing.
No.
So, you start the testing on the stream where the development is going on, and there this concept we have stub.
Well, that's very specific. It's not. I don't. It's maybe not necessary to general QA because it's first time I've heard that stub. That's very specific, maybe.
Okay. Okay, no issues. Um, can you explain me what do you mean by risk-based testing and what are the important factors that are needed to be considered to perform risk-based testing?
Risk-based testing. Well,
Hmm.
for me, it's basically an approach to the test based on kind of risk factor. It's like there are different uh, behaviors QA does, but it's not usually senior QA. This is basically somebody who in QA lead positions. When they do something, we have to understand what they're doing with risk. And they're generally, when I was QA lead, there's like few approaches. Uh, it's one is fully eliminated risk if it's possible. There is you can minimize risks, or you can share risk with the client, whoever just basically this thing what risk come from. You giving client an idea that this is the risk that so basically clients know. So you're sharing the risk. Is that what you were asking, or something else?
So uh, the things that you mentioned is about the risk that you would be carrying even after the testing is done, right?
Right.
My question was more on how will you, what things will you factor in to do the risk-based testing? So it is a concept of testing, but it involves
Oh, you're talking about
limited
managing is like
testing.
managing resources like time
Yeah,
people.
time we can say, time we
Yeah,
can say.
yeah, okay, so I understand, but this is once again, this is manual QA position senior. This is usually those questions are for QA leads, like how you manage. Basically, you have to be able to manage people and resources. This is not senior manual position. This is for QA lead position. Would be question, right? I'm just wondering.
Yeah. Yeah, but ideally, this should be known to everyone so that even if it is asked to figure out which test cases we should run based on the risk-based testing approach, everyone should be aware in the team what is to be done.
Okay, so there is the risk-based factor is a time resources. There's this it's triangle. I wasn't preparing for that, so I was usually like I read a lot of stuff before interview. So this was kind of so basically yes, it's about managing risk. So what options do we have in order to give something to end of the day with quality? So one is having more time. Second one is managing resources, having more resources, and there was third one, and the third one is maybe for forgetting something. Yes, there was three factors. What was the third? What was the third one?
The criteria based on which you will pick up the test cases.
I'm sorry. So it's even different. So repeat it again because I answer something. I know it's true, but maybe not necessary to the question. So what is again? Please clarify your question, please.
Yeah. I asked you about what is risk-based testing and what are the important factors that we need to consider in risk-based testing.
What the factors is based testing?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm sticking with this what I just said because I don't have any other answer. Yeah, this is kind of
Okay.
yeah.
Can you give me an example where a defect is of high severity and low priority?
High severity and low priority.
Yeah.
So basically, yes, high severity, low priority. Basically, what it means is something uh, something is severity is usually defined by uh, like crash would be high severity and then would be functionality not working would be lower maybe severity, but priority is defined based on end user needs. So it is possible to have something high severity because it's very general, but low priority if user doesn't use it much. So let's say functionality, some kind of functionality does not work, it will be maybe high severity, but if this functionality is not used by user to the high extent, it's somewhere in you know, basically, yeah, let's say just only 5% of the users using that part of the if it would be, let's say, same functionality not working, but it would be uh, 95% of users using that, that would be uh, kind of, it would be high severity and high priority. But because only 5% users using that, that could be put as a scenario where it's high severity but low priority for fixing. Yeah.
Okay. If I ask you to draft test scenarios for a watch, what will be your approach?
Scenarios for the watch, for like uh,
Wristwatch.
wristwatch. Scenarios for
Yeah.
testing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Testing.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna look at my watch, I guess. Okay. So I can change the time. I can wind. I can change it back and forth, and I can see the time is moving for the hour, for the minute, for the second. Uh, if watch have some kind of additional functionality, I don't know if it lights at night or something, which is not for all watches. I have to check that. Performance testing could be, depends on what watch. Let's say there's it's battery watch, right? So I can see endurance of the battery, how long I can this watch can go with the batteries it's designed. But it's questionable whether it's watch or the battery also kind of question. I don't know if it's for the water watch. I can go and see, put it in the water, see if it not breaks down. Also, can test watch if it's protected from fail. So if I put like if it drop on the floor, it should survive. I should check that. So that's kind of overall.
Okay. If I ask you to multiply two numbers without using a multiplication operator, how can you do that?
Is this what the QAs do? I'm just
No, no,
curious.
this is just a logical question, not related to QA concepts or anything. This is a logical question.
How you can multiply two numbers without using? You can multiply it in your head. I mean, when I'm using my head, I don't use multiplication now. I mean, sign. That's what you. Can you repeat the question again, please?
Yeah. How can you multiply two numbers without using a multiplication operator?
Okay, I can use it. I can use it in my head. So right now there is no operator. I just 2 by 2 it's 4. There is no operator in my head.
Okay. Okay, I think I had asked all the questions that I had. Is there anything you want to ask me?
Well, yeah, it sounds like from my experience something that you did not like because our interview is even not half an hour. Is it something? Is it
No, no,
something
no,
because
nothing like that. So generally, I take out 30 minutes from my schedule to get an interview done. I think that is what we also did.
there was no technical questions? So my I guess my question to you is like. Uh, this position is technical enough, right? It's because I've been working with trading like 5 different projects at least. So there's
Hmm.
SQL, there's API. So I guess my question to you, uh, d- did you make assumption, assertion based on general logical questions, giving you better idea than technical questions that actually people have to do at real work environment? You get better assertion of that.
No, not exactly. So I had seen your resume, and I think regarding the SQL commands and the Linux, generally I ask the questions to the candidates. But looking at your resume, I think you are fairly aware about those things. If you want, I can ask the question. I have the questions
No,
ready.
I'm just wondering because it's not very. it doesn't happen very often, but when somebody uh, making the half of interview, it's usually not a good sign. And I'm like, why, what was the answer incorrectly, or in these cases
No, no,
that
no, no,
you
no.
making half of the interview skipped. So that's what my main kind of
No, no.
concern
So
here.
generally, the interview is around 30 minutes itself. But whenever the people who set up the interview, they do it for 1 hour. I don't know why, but most of the interviews that I take ends up at in 30 minutes. I have people who set up the interview itself for 30 minutes. I think Andrew sets it up for 1 hour.
Hmm. Okay, then can I use some of this time? So
Yeah, yeah,
basically,
yeah.
yeah. So if there, I, it's been in the past with me because people have different misconception, and I promise you, in my experience, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, in my experience, sometimes people have different answers for the same thing, and they both could be right. So
Yeah, I agree.
I want to ask you, in the case that you've been asking me question, are there any questions that you felt were not either not correct or not clear, so I can have chance to rephrase it?
I think most of the questions that were not clear to you were upfrontly highlighted by you itself. So wherever I found that you were misunderstanding the question, I stopped you there and there, and I corrected the question. I repeated it again, and I think those were already the misunderstandings that we cleared, and then you answered it from your end. So I don't think there was any question that was misunderstood by you, or the answer was misunderstood by me.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, as long as we understand. Okay, thank you very much then. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye
Thank
bye.
you so
Bye
much.
bye.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye
Bye.
bye.